I really like this version of it. That's the Cucumbers and All Shook Up. That's a sexy version of that song. 8:20 the time. It's a midweek edition of the Mornings with Ed show. We say a very good morning to you and a good day. It's a perfect day here in Laguna Beach. It's going to be bright, sunny, beautiful, and warming up for the weekend. We'll actually have kind of like spring-like conditions for a few days. Enjoy those conditions. And this segment is kind of a 2-for-1. I'm giving you a twofer here. This one's free. You may get a text at some point that says that the United States Postal Service package has arrived, but they can't deliver it because they need you to click on the link and provide your address or phone number or email address or something. But whatever it is, it starts off that way. The USPS package has arrived. And it makes you think, okay, well, I've got something that they can't deliver to me. The only way to do I've got to click. Don't click that link. It's a total scam, and you're being scammed by them. The moment you click that link, you're done. You're done. They come to your house. They take your kids and your dogs and everything else. So don't do that. Don't click that link. The USPS package has arrived is a scam when you get that texted to you. So let's talk about, see, that was free, by the way. The Doomsday Clock, which we've been talking about this morning, that's been ticking now for 77 years, isn't an ordinary clock. It gauges how close humanity is to destroying the world. And, you know, it's us. It's really, we're the bad ones here. It's not rhinos or elephants or giraffes or tigers or gorillas or dogs. It's us. And just yesterday, the clock was again set at 90 seconds to midnight. 90 seconds to midnight, the closest to the hour that it's ever been. Okay, this is according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, which created the clock in 1947. Midnight represents the moment at which people will have made the Earth uninhabitable. Okay. Last year, the Bulletin set the clock at 90 seconds to midnight, mainly due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the increased risk of nuclear escalation at that point. And from 2020 until 2022, the clock was set at 100 seconds to midnight. The clock isn't really designed to definitively measure existential threats, but instead to spark conversations about difficult scientific topics like climate change. The decision to keep the clock at the same time this year is largely due to ongoing concerns about the war in Ukraine and the Israeli-Gaza conflict, the potential of a nuclear arms race now that North Korea is starting to provide weapons to the Russians, as well as the climate crisis. Trends tend to point ominously toward global catastrophe right now. The war in Ukraine poses an ever-present risk of nuclear escalation, and the October 7th attack in Israel and the now war in Gaza provides further illustration of the horrors of modern war, even without nuclear escalation. The countries with nuclear weapons are engaged in modernization programs that threaten to create a new nuclear arms race. Earth experienced its hottest year on record, and massive floods and fires and other climate-related disasters have taken root, and lack of action on climate change threatens billions of lives and livelihoods. And I said that oddly, livelihoods. Bronson, who is a scientist, cited recent advances in artificial intelligence as another concern, saying that they raise a variety of questions about how to control a technology that could improve or threaten civilization in countless ways. So, if you're wondering what the Doomsday Clock is, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists was founded by a group of scientists who worked on the Manhattan Project, the code name, of course, for the development of the atomic bomb during World War II. Originally, the organization was conceived to measure nuclear threats. But in 2007, the Bulletin made the decision to include climate change in its calculations. Over the last 77 years, the time on the clock has changed according to how close the scientists believe the human race is to total destruction. Some years the time changes, and some years it doesn't. The Doomsday Clock is set every year by the experts on the Bulletin Science and Security Board in consultation with its board of sponsors, which currently includes 9 Nobel laureates. That means something. Now, although the clock has been an effective wake-up call when it comes to reminding people about the cascading crises that we're facing here on this planet, a lot of people have questioned its usefulness. It's an imperfect metaphor that the framing of this clock combines different types of risks that have different characteristics and occur in different time scales. But it remains an important rhetorical device that reminds us year after year of the tenuousness of our current existence on this planet. Every model has constraints. This bulletin has made thoughtful decisions each year on how to get people's attention about these existential threats we face and the required action. Now, while I wish we could go back to talking about minutes to midnight instead of seconds to midnight, unfortunately, that no longer reflects the reality that we live in. So, what happens if the clock reaches midnight? The clock has never reached midnight. I certainly hope it never will. When the clock is at midnight, that means there's been some sort of nuclear exchange or catastrophic climate change that's wiped out humanity. We never really want to get there, and we don't know when we do. The clock's time isn't meant to measure threats, but rather to spark conversation and encourage public engagement in scientific topics like we should be having each and every moment, like climate change and nuclear disarmament. If the clock is able to do that, it's a success. When a new time is set on the clock, you tend to listen. At the COP26 climate talks in Glasgow in 2021, former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson cited the Doomsday Clock when he was talking about the climate crisis. Bronson, the scientist that we've been talking about, said that she hopes people will discuss whether they agree with the Bulletin's decision and have fruitful talks about the driving forces of, what those changes might be. Moving the clock back with bold, concrete action is still possible. In fact, the hand moved the farthest away from midnight, a whopping, by the way, 17 minutes before the hour in 1991, when then-President George H.W. Bush and his administration signed the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty with the Soviet Union. In 2016, the clock was at 3 minutes before midnight as a result of the Iran nuclear agreement and the Paris Climate Accord. It's at 90 seconds now, folks. What can we do as individuals to turn back the time on the clock? The folks at the Bulletin believe that because humans created these threats, we can also do something to reduce these threats. But doing so isn't easy, nor has it ever been, and it requires serious work and true global engagement at all levels of society. So, we shouldn't underestimate the power of talking about these important issues with peers, with neighbors, with those that we send to office. You might not feel it because you're not doing anything, but we know that public engagement moves leaders to do things. And we'll be talking more about that as we move along. To make a positive impact on climate change, look at your daily habits and see if there are any small changes you can make in your life, like how often you walk versus how often you drive and how your home is heated, all those kinds of things. Eating, seasonally and locally reducing food waste and recycling properly. Those are other ways to help mitigate or deal with the effects of the climate crisis. And I'll say it again, we are 90 seconds to midnight. 8:29 the time. Do you feel safe? Do you feel sound? 8:29. Halfway through the 8 o'clock hour, it's the Mornings with Ed show on the all-new Voice of Laguna.